AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Laying down the law. With Steve Foster, Rod Chico Tanner, and Ryan Willett.
Good morning. It is Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster. And yesterday, one of our two big charities events happened as the Cupid's Undie Run 2022 takes place. It would be the 12th overall in the Cupid's Undie Run world. And everybody goes crazy just because some underwear was taken off to end neurofibromatosis, end NF. You always see that hashtag. It was a great time. San Antonio in the area comes up to Austin. There is no Cupid's Undie Run in San Antonio, but that doesn't mean that people from San Antonio cannot participate. The beautiful thing about this is the run lasts maybe 8 minutes tops if you're slow, because it's only about a half mile. And it was, again, a freezing cold affair, but it was unbelievably fun at Kung Fu Saloon. If anybody's ever been to Kung Fu Saloon, the games, the atmosphere, the ringing, the hitting of the gong, out of control, and a lot of fun to help kids and at least find some way to slow down and stop this awful disease that kids are making their way through life with. So hats off, clothes off, and everything else as Austin in the San Antonio area complete the 2022 version of the Cupid's Undie Run to support the Children's Tumor Foundation, find an end to neurofibromatosis. With that, while all that's going on in the craziness, Edwin, first time in history, my man, 7 of the top 10 AP college basketball teams lose at one time. 6 used to be the marker. Now it's 7. I guess they're honoring Tom Brady and his 7 Super Bowls championships, but unprecedented as the South Regional going to be in San Antonio next month. Man, your thoughts about all these upsets yesterday?
No, it's crazy. I mean, I think a couple weeks ago, you thought Auburn, when they won 18, 19 in a row, you thought they were the best team in the country, and then they've dropped a couple, and you thought Gonzaga, was the best team in the country. And I think it's setting up for a year where there is no great team in college basketball again. I mean, it's been like that the last few years, but I think I don't think there's one clear dominant team in college basketball, and it's going to be set up for a great March Madness.
You don't think Gonzaga? I mean, everybody gets one complimentary, don't they? I mean, that's just one. But like you said, there may not be. I mean, Kentucky possibly.
Purdue's pretty good offensively, but they're one of the worst defensive teams in the country.
Right. So defense wins championships. So we can at least move Purdue to probably the Great 8. And we say, okay, then they may get out offense because they play horrible defense. But maybe it's just 17 to 23-year-olds and college kids not paying attention one week and everybody just went AWOL.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Gonzaga everyone has a mulligan, Gonzaga, but the issue with Gonzaga is they're in such a bad conference compared to the Power 5, right? Compared to the SEC or the Big Ten. The ACC is down this year, but the West Coast Conference isn't as strong as some of these other conferences. So they don't get tested as much until they get to the tournament.
Right.
But Gonzaga, listen, they made it to the championship last year. They got destroyed by Baylor. I know a lot of people think maybe this is their year. They return a lot of the players except for Suggs, who's with the Orlando Magic. So they're going to have their chip on their shoulder pretty much. But Gonzaga, I think, will be in the Final Four, close to it by the end of the season.
Right. You bring up a great team, Baylor, right? Defending champs. They knock off Kansas at home. Kansas top 5 team effectively. Do they have, does Texas have a chance to repeat a Texas team in basketball to, solidify our hold, as I say, on college football and football? I know Alabama, but Alabama actually grabbed some people from Texas that makes their team great. But Baylor, I think, has just as good a chance to get the Final Four as well.
They do. I mean, they still they have a really good team, obviously, but I think the Texas team we're forgetting is Texas Tech. They're a top 10 team. I mean, they first year without Chris Beard, they play defense as well as good of a defense as any in the country. And the issue is going to be, can they score enough come tournament time? But they're a pain to play against. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, and they completely shut down Texas the 2 times they played this year. And I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because they want to prove that it wasn't all Chris Beard over the last few years.
Right. Well, who goes to watch the coach? That's what I always say. Nobody goes to watch Nick Saban, right? Nobody went to watch Ed Orgeron. Nobody, goes to see Chris Beard. I mean, he's back on the 40 acres, but nobody goes to watch him or my guy RT or Chris. His assistant coaches. They're great guys, but you go to watch the players. Yeah. And I think, and listen, UT, a great win on the road in Morgantown yesterday, 82-81 against West Virginia. I love basketball for the sense that you really don't know who may win, especially with the Big 12. I think they're going to be the dominant conference in getting in maybe 7 to 8 teams into this NCAA field.
No, absolutely. I mean, we forgot about the team that's carried the Big 12 for 20 plus years, Kansas. I mean, I know they lost, but
right.
They're still a really good team. I mean, Texas, obviously, this upcoming week, they play Baylor on Monday at home, and then they go to Lawrence to play Kansas. I mean, those Texas can kind of prove, can they be in that upper echelon of teams that they can somehow at least go 1-1 in those games. I was
going to ask you. So, do you think they get Baylor at home? Because Fog Allen, I've been there when I was Nebraska grad. They dismantled us in Fog Allen. What's your choice or do you think UT goes 2-0 and they say in your face Baylor and Kansas?
The more likely scenario is they beat Baylor at home just because it's at home, and they lose to Kansas at the Fog. But they did beat Kansas earlier this year.
Right.
And last year they swept Kansas. They beat them by like 30 at the Fog. So I know it's a little bit different team. But listen, I think Texas, they play defense. Obviously, they're as good of a defensive team as anyone. Chris Beard's brought that from Lubbock.
Yes.
The issue is going to be, can they score enough? Timmy Allen and Marcus Carr, they're going to have to be huge. Because those are probably their 2 best players, and they're going to have to. Marcus Carr, I think against Texas Tech last week at home, I think he scored 0 points, I think, or something like that. I mean, he didn't play
crazy.
But if he plays well, he's their most important player. Timmy Allen's their best player. If Marcus Carr plays well, I think that kind of lessens the load for everyone else.
What about my childhood team, Phi Slamma Jamma Houston, could make somewhat of a splash, and you have the Sun Belt regular season champs doing well.
Texas State Bobcats, absolutely,
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think the state of Texas, they prove they can play some basketball. It's not just a football state, but no, I mean, Houston made it to the Final Four last year.
Right.
I think they're kind of flying under the radar. They're not as, I think people are kind of forgetting about them, but it depends obviously where, how the brackets shake out and what region they're in, but they could somehow be in that San Antonio region. I think their fans are going to travel down here to San Antonio.
Absolutely. So do you think Texas State, I know they're the regular season conference champs, you think they can get through and possibly we can scoot in an additional Texas team with the Bobcats this year?
Hopefully. I mean, I'm a University of Texas Arlington grad, so they're also in the Sun Belt too, but they're not doing as well this year.
The Mavs,
no,
baby.
They're not. But no, hopefully I see Texas State in there. I mean, obviously they're gonna have to win the conference tournament to get in.
Right.
But they're guaranteed at least one of the postseason berths since they won the regular season.
Yes.
But no, I mean, I think obviously they've had a really good regular season. They've been good the last couple years in the regular season. They just haven't been able to kind of get through the hump in the conference tournament. So that's their biggest kind of bugaboo.
Right. Absolutely. And for the Big 12, who do you think becomes the tournament champ this week?
Man,
Or I should say in a week. I apologize. Yes.
I mean, it's probably going to be Kansas is ahead, I believe, right now. I'd probably say Kansas. They have a kind of a stranglehold on it, either them or Texas Tech. But it depends if Texas can somehow beat Kansas at the Fog, or if Kansas can lose one more time. I think obviously it's wide open. So Texas has an outside chance. But
Bill Self is strong at home. He somehow gets his team where they need to be. They're almost guaranteed Sweet 16 every year, unless something goofy happens and they move. But the tournament, I think this will be one of the best tournament years in a while for the Big 12.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have the freshmen. Are you just saying in the Big 12 or in March Madness in general?
Big 12.
Oh no, the Big 12. I mean, you could argue it's the best conference in college basketball.
I'm going to say it.
I mean, the Big 10's up there, but
guy, right? I'm a Texas guy. I'm taking us over everybody.
No, it is. It's a great conference. No, it's going to be great. It's still in Kansas City, I believe.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a wide open. I mean, Texas won it for the first time last year, which is crazy. Isn't that crazy that with all the great players Texas has had with LaMarcus Aldridge and Kevin Durant, TJ Augustine, last year was the first time they've ever won the conference tournament.
Insane. That shows you how good and what type of basketball is being played here in the middle of the country. So, well, listen, we're going to ride today. We're going to get into a variety of sports topics. My guy Edwin producing has done a great job for the show for many months, over a year, and keeping it rolling. He is also a sports information guy as well. We all enjoy this, or we wouldn't be in this industry. So sit back, relax. We'll also keep giving the kudos to the Cupid's Undie Run. Edwin, I got to bring you out to that one. If you want to have a good time with me, this is one that is a positive as well. Got to get you on a Saturday in February to come hang out at this one.
Just tell me where it is. I'll try to make it.
No, absolutely. Weather was cold. We'd have to bundle up, but I know how to do it. I'm not a rook at this event. And it's great to help kids. So we're going to step aside. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little Major League Baseball. They're all locked out and fighting over money, of course, like everybody else does. So it's just in a sports kind of way. So stay with us. More to come right here on Laying Down the Law.
San Antonio has 2 Hopdoddy locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster. One at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop, 1604 West. And the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all natural ingredients. Hopdoddy also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hopdoddy in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer, a big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at TrackPhone.com.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply. And then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Find more jobs on thenewmonster.com. Jobs for night owls, early risers. Jobs for people who do their best thinking in the morning, or the evening, or the shower, or with TV cameras pointed in their face. Jobs for people who like the way they look in scrubs, or in cowboy hats, or tool belts. Even jobs for people who think they have a voice for radio. With more advice and jobs for career switchers, new grads, and digital nomads, Monster has all you need to find the right fit. Go to thenewmonster.com or download our app today.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you, and to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, broiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them Foss said hello. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back. We are laying down the law as we finish up February. Black History Month. Absolutely. A lot of history and a lot of attributable things in the United States to this group that I belong to, and a lot of fun learning new facts there. Some of these facts put us in a quandary, and that's why we have our next guest, former first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals, my long-standing, he's got to be my first cousin, the one and only Brian McCray, Mr. Outfield. Brian, good morning. Tell us, the lockout only has happened, I think, 4 times in baseball's history here in the long while, with the collective bargaining agreement now expiring. Your thoughts, are we going to get a regular baseball season?
Well, I don't think we're going to get 162 games in. So I think that, they've met all week, and unfortunately they didn't get aggressive in their meetings until this week. So basically the negotiations, I feel, started this week. And for whatever reason, on the owner's side, it seemed like they wanted to drag this out, and they didn't do much as far as negotiating with the Players Association for the first almost 2 months of the since the lockout started, and now they've been meeting every day. And you hear some reports that say that they're real close on a lot of the key economic issues, and then you hear other reports that say that they're far apart. The thing that I think that is going to happen is, after today, they'll start canceling regular season games. But I think that in the next week to 10 days, that something will be done, and they'll play 140 to 150 game season. That would be my estimation of what I think is going to happen.
And so, just to be clear, a lockout is when ownership says nobody's playing baseball. Strike.
Right. A lockout is the owners, and they said they locked the players out to try to spark negotiations. They could lift the lockout, and the players could be in spring training today, and they could still negotiate,
right,
and get a deal done and play a regular season. So a lockout does not stop the game from moving. So that's something that, the lockout and the strike are two different things. And
right,
sometimes people don't understand the difference. But yeah, the owners could say no lockout. Let's go to spring training. We'll still negotiate
right
while we're in spring training, and we'll get a deal done. But we don't want to stop the game.
Right. So would they then just continue under the old collective bargaining?
You would continue under the old agreement until you have another agreement, but things could keep going.
Right. So why
and
use
the owners
lockout?
would need some protection as far as from the Players Association saying, hey, we'll lift the lockout if you agree not to strike.
Right. I got you. Right. So
in 94, they lifted the lockout. We played under the old agreement.
Right.
Tried to get an agreement done and played until mid-August and weren't able to get an agreement done. And then that's when the players went on strike.
Right. So how'd you feel about that, since you were kind of right in the middle of, your
I was a part of the negotiating group I was a player rep for with the Royals at that time.
Right.
And I was American League representative. So I was involved in some of those meetings and saw firsthand and heard firsthand, what goes on in negotiations between the Players Association and the ownership group and the MLB. And at that time, there were a lot of hardline owners that wanted to break the union and introduce a salary cap. And, we in the Players Association were against that because we didn't feel that was in the best interest of the game or in the best interest of the membership of players. With the revenue going up, capping it, we didn't think that the players would benefit like they should. Right. And the biggest thing I found out, and kind of what I understood from the negotiation then, and when my dad played, and he played in the 70s and 80s when there were lockouts and strikes, is the owners have a hard time controlling themselves and what they spend on players. There's certain owners that want to do more than other owners are comfortable with. So a lot of times in these negotiations, the owners cannot police themselves. So they try to police the players to stop them from what they feel like is overspending. So they take it out on the players sometimes with some of the owners that trying to, there's 4 or 5 teams that are always trying to win and spend a lot of money on free agents. And there are a lot of other teams that are like, hey, man, back off because you're making us spend more money than we want to spend.
Right.
And if they can't control themselves, and they're like, well, we'll just take it out on the players.
That doesn't seem right, though. And we're talking with Brian McCray, former first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals, also involved with the last lockout in 1994. That's, maybe I should have jumped straight from graduating from law school and sat down with you. Things worked out in 94, and like you said,
it didn't work out because there was a lengthy strike, and the World Series was
canceled.
They canceled the World Series and all that. But from 94 to where we are today,
right,
there hasn't been a work stoppage.
Right.
So I think the bigger picture is let's not just get a deal to get a deal. Let's get a deal done where we don't have to worry about this for a long time.
Right. And we know that
both sides aren't going to win. The players have already given in the last negotiations with the current basic agreement, or the one that just expired. The players have given up things over the last 2 or 3 basic agreements that they gained after the strike in 94. Now, how much more do the owners want the players to give up to where they feel comfortable? And that's where we'll find those things out here in the coming days.
Right. So, Mac, do you think the players should have given up what y'all negotiated in 94? Why does it seem like they're rolling things back?
They were doing things at that time that they thought were good for the game, and thought that the battles and the fights that we've had with the league and ownership group were subsiding, and there was a better relationship going on at that time than it is right now. And you look back at it, and that probably was a bad deal for the players, but there was 20 some odd years of peace.
Right. And it's good to know that you're going to have a paycheck coming in, and
it's good to know that, and it's good to know that
I'm not sure if we lost you, Brian. Have Brian McCray, first round draft pick of the Royals, also a player rep during the last lockout, giving us explanation about the players, them giving up their position, a couple of them from what was negotiated in 1994. Nobody wants to see a work stoppage. I think people were kind of excited about getting spring training and baseball back. I know people in Texas, especially Astros fans, Atlanta, in fact, ran into one of the reps from Atlanta who joined there in the Austin and San Antonio area for the Cupid's Undie Run, excited about the Braves and getting back and playing baseball again. So this would be a huge step back if we compromise games. Hopefully it's only 10 or 15, as Brian had mentioned, as he was speaking with us earlier in the segment, and trying to see, again, what can be negotiated. It's interesting to find out that there are 5 or 6 teams willing to pay for the talent to win, and that leaves 20 plus saying, well, we just want to pad the financing and see what we can do, kind of with the middle of the road approach. Billionaires fighting against millionaires is always an interesting postulate, and you got to find some type of common ground that will allow the great game, America's pastime, to continue. I enjoy baseball. Baseball, one of the first sport that I played, and would still want to be a part around town. The San Antonio Missions, Round Rock Express. You can get out farther into the minor league teams throughout the state of Texas. And then, of course, hello, Matt, you back with us? Okay.
Yeah. When did we get cut off?
Probably a couple of minutes ago. I was kind of explaining a recap of how you said some of the players have or some of the things that the players gave up, and the fact that baseball being America's pastime. I was kind of excited as the Astros and of course the Braves, as they'd be defending world champs, would like to get going. Then you have this situation where there's billionaires fighting against millionaires, and you're going to have to.
And that saying too is not really correct, because what a lot of the talk is in this negotiation is for the younger players,
yes,
that have played well enough to earn a better salary. They don't get the free agency. They're not millionaires. They're getting paid nothing, like 40% or so of Major League Baseball, they make under $1 million. And some of those younger players are some of the better players in the game.
Right.
And the Players Association is fighting to get them paid more earlier in their career, because they may not get to 6 years of free agency.
Gotcha. Now, you were fortunate to do that, and that allowed you to do a lot more as a player. So let's do this. Let's take a break.
The thing is, you look at the minor leagues too. So a team has control of you for 6 years in the minor leagues and 6 years in the big leagues.
Right. So let's do this, Matt.
So conceivably, like, how many guys play 12 years to get?
No, you're right. Let's do this.
To get to free agency. So that's what they're trying to work at. I was able to get to arbitration, free agency,
right,
and all that. I got almost 10 years in, but the average career is like 3.5 years.
Right. Let's do this, Mac. Let's take a break. Let's have you come back and finish those thoughts so we can get a complete picture of this 2022 lockout. We are talking with Brian McCray, first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals. We're going to step aside. We're going to come back and continue the lockout talk and kind of get a better picture of why the players are doing what they're doing. I think it's a very interesting situation when you hear exactly what's taking place and what the players versus the owners are fighting for. Stay with us. More to come right here on the Law.
Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to texasspinecarecenter.com. 210-941-1785.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
and Doug. Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's Babbel.com.
Did you know that every diamond at Diamonds Direct is over 1 billion years old? They were created by intense pressure and heat over 100 miles inside the Earth, only coming to the surface by way of a volcano. Then each one meticulously extracted by miners, then cut and polished by true craftsmen. See why we get excited about diamonds at Diamonds Direct? These are rare and precious stones, symbolizing love for generations. If you're getting engaged, come let our passion be your guide. At Diamonds Direct, we'll tell you everything there is to know about diamonds. We'll show you dozens and dozens in your price range. We'll share industry secrets that can help you maximize your budget, and we'll guarantee you the best price anywhere in America. See, we're obsessed with diamonds. We're fascinated by them because, like snowflakes, no two diamonds are the same. Each one has its own unique characteristics, and we're devoted to helping you choose the one, the special one, that speaks only to you. Diamonds Direct. At the shops at La Cantera, across the lot from Nordstrom.
You can talk low carb all you want, but if you don't have a lineup of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the keto game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are high protein and low carb. Plus, they're low sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen. So it is a no-brainer. Get the bold flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe
Pork rinds.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We are back. We are Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster, and we are on the phone with one of my favorite guys of all time, long-standing friend and former first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals, player rep as well for them during the 94 lockout. My main man, Brian McCray. B-Mac, thanks for hanging with us and give us set the scenario for the younger players, kind of what the MLB Players Association is looking at. You gave started to give us some information about how the younger players who are playing extremely well in Major League Baseball can accomplish their financial wherewithal before you have this arbitration and free agency and all that good stuff down the road, because the life expectancy of a Major League Baseball player is not guaranteed, and it takes time.
Well, basically, the 0 to 2+ years of service time, those guys are making minimum no matter how good they are.
Okay.
And that's something that they're trying to change, where if you play well enough, your service time should not be a factor in how much you get paid.
Right. Just saying,
just
I like it's almost like a state, a state employee. You're around for 6 years, so you get paid more, even if you're not as good as the first year employee that comes in. Right.
As a state employee, you have a better chance of getting to 6 years as a state employee than you do as a Major League Baseball player.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
So a lot of these guys may not get to 6 years. And so they're trying to make sure they're compensated a little bit better in their earlier years, because they may not have.
Right. If you perform and you're an all-star in the first 4 years of your career,
you should be paid like an all-star.
Right. Gotcha. And how
not a minimum? You're not a minimum salary player.
Right. Absolutely. And say you got to pay your dues and hope that you get to 6 years so you can then cash in with that second contract and then go, because Mac, it makes sense, because maybe you're great in the first 4 years and then you're average in the next 5.
Or you get hurt.
Or you get hurt. That's right. And you say, oh man, we got his rookie card, and you know how I am with collecting cards. I'm a fiend. I've got a bunch of yours, but the point is, there's no way to know out that you go, oh, when they hit this.
But you should be paid based on your production more so than your service time.
Right. How would you then change the way that things are set up to do that? You get drafted and all of a sudden you're a huge hit. Do you scale it up? Do you scale up that base pay? What do you do?
Well, that's what they're trying to scale up the minimum.
Right.
So that it goes with inflation and how the revenues are going up. The minimum in baseball is the lowest minimum of any of the 4
major
sports.
Okay.
And baseball plays more games.
Right.
Then I think it was 550 or something like that last year, and the next lowest was, I think, hockey, and they were 750. So I may be off a little bit, but
right.
But hockey, basketball, football, the minimum salary is all more than
baseball.
Right.
Well, what about incentives
for your first year guys?
What about incentives? I mean, you're smart enough. You become a Major League Baseball agent, and you go, okay, look, I think my guy's going to be pretty good. Can't you build those things into the contract, though, Mac, so that
you can build them into, but very few young players get multi-year deals because they don't have to give you one.
Gotcha.
They don't have to pay you. You can produce at a high level for 4 years, and they still can give you a little bump from the minimum salary. That's in the agreement. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't fight it.
Gotcha.
If you try to fight it and get a better salary, they'll just renew you at the salary that they want to give you. And that
gotcha.
so that's so the 0 to 4 players don't really have
a lot of leverage.
They have no leverage at all. So say my second year, I have a great year.
Right.
And they offer me, the minimum was 550. They offer me like 580.
Oh no, that's
or something like that. Because it goes up small increments when you're in your first few years.
Right.
And you say, no, I want 700.
Right.
and you don't come to an agreement, they just unilaterally renew your contract and you get 5 days, and that's it. You can't do anything about it.
Wow. Okay.
You have to wait till you get arbitration eligible, or wait till you get free agency to where you have any bargaining power. And so they're trying to change that a little bit to where the younger guys have a little bit more bargaining power on what they make in conjunction of, the production and what they do on the field.
Gotcha. Talking with Brian McCray, former first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals. Mac, before we let you go, if people don't know, you were also given the opportunity to have a full scholarship to the University of Kansas playing football. Let's talk basketball, though. The Big 12 tournament in your hometown there of Kansas City, in that area, KC Mo. What do you think about this Big 12 tournament? Kansas playing very well, even though they lose to Baylor. I think the Big 12, one of the best basketball conferences this year in the country.
I think it's going to be a very competitive and a fun week in Kansas City to have everybody come on in. I don't know if this is the end of the Big 12 as we know it, with all the changes with, Oklahoma and Texas leaving. So it may be the last time that those two universities come into Kansas City for the Big 12. But it's been a competitive across the board in college basketball, and I think that there's really no clear-cut champion that people think that can win. Didn't the top 7 teams lose yesterday?
7. It's
top 7. The first time ever that the top 7 lost on the same day.
Yes, in the AP top 10. That's correct. So a new record set yesterday as Gonzaga went down to St. Mary's late night. Yes.
So it'll be interesting. It's going to be fun. It'll be some nostalgic. It'll be a lot of things that'll be going into the Big 12 tournament with the changes in the conference. And I still don't see the Big 12 tournament or the Big 12 being a basketball conference per se. People don't look at it that way because most of the Texas schools, even though Baylor's done great things, Texas Tech has they've improved a lot, but they still see Big 12 and the Texas schools as football and not playing high quality basketball all the time. And I think that needs to change.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I tell you, if you get a hankering and you don't get enough for the Big 12 championship in Kansas City, come see us in San Antonio. We're going to be one of the regionals. So, you always got a spot with us, and we appreciate
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at that, depending on what the matchups are of doing that, and I'll give you a holler and let you know.
Absolutely. We always appreciate your insight. I didn't recall that you were one of the player reps in the 94 lockout, but hey, it's better to be lucky than good. And if this thing drags out.
It was good just to know how things work. My agent, Steve Fear, is Donald Fear's brother, who used to run the Players Association. So I knew a lot of the behind the scenes, back channel things that were going on in the negotiation because of my relationship with him, and he was legal counsel for the Players Association, so that really got me interested in just knowing more about my sport and how it works.
Absolutely. And we appreciate it because you can share that knowledge and insight. And like I said, if it continues to go, we're going to call on you, man. And I always enjoy chopping it up on and offline, and to be able to have our listeners get firsthand insight about these major goings on in sports.
Yeah, I wish we were talking more about what's going on off the field and on the field. On the field, than off the field, and hopefully that will be the case shortly.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, Mac. Have a great day, and we will catch up with you soon, my man. Thanks again.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much, Steve.
You're welcome. We're going to step aside. We'll be back. Rod Chico Tanner coming up with the AAU Focus on You Sports. He's got a great guest as well. So stay with us right here on Laying Down the Law.
San Antonio has 2 Hopdoddy locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster, one at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop 1604 West, and the initial San Antonio location at 17623 Lock and Terra Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hopdoddy also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hopdoddy in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug. Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Yes, I'm so sorry about the wait, ma'am. I'll be with you shortly. Carrie, how many appointments did we book at 2:30?
Jin's physical therapy clinic is pretty stretched. He needs another PT before patients get bent out of shape.
You get fresh ice pack from Miss Davis's knee.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Step up your lunch game at Twin Peaks. We have light and hearty combos put together for you starting at just $7.99, featuring savory soups, crisp salads, and a variety of sandwiches to satisfy your every craving. Enjoy your next lunch break at Twin Peaks.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, boiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them Foss said hello. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hopdoddy Burger Bar.
We're back. Laying Down the Law. Getting a little rowdy. Ready for the AAU Focus on You Sports. Our man, co-host Rod Chico Tanner, the good governor of the South Texas District of the AAU, and we have guests as well. Chico, good morning.
Good morning, and it's a beautiful Sunday in Helotes, Texas. Supposed to be out on the pitch at 1 o'clock today, but they postponed that game. So my men's team will have to wait to get this next season started.
All right.
Not to belabor on us old guys out there playing soccer, but a big shout out to my men's team, the Global Stars.
There you go.
We came up short the championship, lost in penalty kicks. We lost. So we ended up the runner-ups this year, but hey, we were in the dance.
Yes, you were.
But speaking of dancing,
yes,
there's going to be some great dancing in Greensboro, North Carolina, at North Carolina A&T this summer at the AAU Junior Olympics, slated some 17 different events, but the largest, of course, will be track and field.
Yes.
And we expect just always the numbers are over 10,000 athletes competing. You had the pleasure of going to a JO Games.
Yes.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm hoping we have my guest on today. I know we're coming in remote. I'm not sure if did we get Channing on?
I believe we do have Channing with us, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm here. Channing Humphrey with Semi-Pro Live.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you know, you
being patient. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up anybody else's broadcast.
Hey, we're live,
So-
Channing. So you know, whatever goes is a go, man. We can't take it back, brother. No, we cannot.
so-
Go ahead, Chico.
So let me set the stage. I had the pleasure of working with Channing at our All-Star game in Frisco at the Cowboys facility, the Hall of Fame, the headquarters, and you were there running the show live. So we had some great things going on. We had Semi-Pro Live streaming the All-Star games, and a phenomenal job they did. You're up in the press box with Chris doing the Laying Down the Law show live.
Yep,
I mean,
and you
what a
joined
great
us.
combination.
You
What a
joined
great
us.
combination. Yeah. But through that, Channing, who started Semi-Pro Live, and I'm going to let him give the quick history of it in just a second, we launched a new broadcast that's going to air every couple of weeks in each month. And it's the Tanner Report powered by AAU and Semi-Pro Live. So without further ado, as Mr. Foster would always say, I'd like to introduce Channing Humphrey, the CEO and founder of Semi-Pro Live, and his producer. I'll let him give a big shout out to his producer, because that's a special person there. So Channing, welcome to Laying Down the Law and the AAU Focus on Youth Sports.
Thank you so much. My name's Channing Humphrey. I'm with Semi-Pro Live. I'm the co-owner and co-founder. My producer / fiance is actually my co-owner as well. I got to give her the shout out immediately. She does a large portion of what makes our broadcast a little bit different and a little bit special. So I had to give her a shout out first. But just to get into a brief description on what Semi-Pro Live is, in a small funny story, we actually started this company when I was playing semi-pro football, and I was really doing it because there was no film, and me and the other guys would go back and forth on the internet, and there was no film to back up what people were saying, so I started recording the games. Fast forward a couple of years later, I got the idea to bring it over to youth sports, and from there, it kind of just took off. I think when we started off doing youth sports, we had about 2,000 followers, and within a year, we're almost 6,000 followers. 16,000 followers right now, and that's on Facebook, and we're on many different platforms. But the basis of it is we wanted to take youth sports and broadcast it in a serious manner. We wanted to essentially make ESPN, but for kids. So whenever you turn on the broadcast, we want you to see the overlays. We want to have commercials. We want to have motion graphics, instant replay, drone view, all the things that you could see or have when you're watching an NFL game or a high-level college game, but affordable enough for a youth program to be able to have us come out and have that experience for the kids. So that's Semi-Pro Live in a nutshell.
So Semi-Pro Live and AAU from the South Texas district, we had some great conversations and collaboration, and through that, we formed the Tanner Report. And we had our first show just the Friday night. Had an amazing guest who we will have on Laying Down the Law here soon, but Autumn Wilson, who's out of Leander, and currently she is the fastest high school girl in the state of Texas, and indoor for sure she has the second fastest time in history of Texas high school girls in the 60 meter, and she's currently ranked number 2 in the nation. She's currently over watching the SEC championships. We had her live from the SEC championships at A&M, and she's on her way to the University of Georgia after she graduates. So she's got a full ride to the University of Georgia, and she's been running in the South Texas district from 7 years old to now. And I know, Steve, what you're going to ask, how does this athlete get out of Texas and not, I mean, everybody asks that question.
I mean, Matthew Bowling, the same thing. He went to Georgia and he bad. Matthew Bowling bad.
Tell you, I asked Autumn that question. Yeah, hey, I asked Autumn the question, and she said that the coach was the reason. She was going to go to USC, but the UCLA, USC or UCLA, the coach transferred to Georgia. That's what made her decision. It was the coach. she wanted to run for that coach, and that was the kind of deciding factor. But you know, we're going to be highlighting with Semi-Pro Live. We're going to be highlighting athletes and programs, and we're going to reach out more than just in Texas. We're going to be showcasing athletes across the United States from an AAU perspective. And you know, I'm a big AAU proponent. You know, Channing
should be. You're the dadgum governor.
But Channing, you know, what Channing can tell
converting me over.
You know,
right.
Yeah, he covers, you know, not to discount any other programs out there, but Channing is all over the place with Semi-Pro Live.
Good.
And he can tell you some of the places and states that he's in and has been. And, you know, Channing, a quick rundown. How many states have you hit in the last, say, 3 or 4 months?
In the last 3 or 4 months, we've been down in Apadosa, Texas, Alice, Texas. We're in Corpus Christi. We're in Little Rock, Arkansas, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Atlanta. We've been down in, Appaloosa, Florida. We've been to Oklahoma. We've been out to Jackson, Mississippi. So that's all in the last 6 months.
9. I counted 9, Chico. and Channing, let me say this, Channing, because this is the one thing I try to get across, and you probably know it just like we do. Do you recommend that these student athletes, these boys and girls, play more than one sport?
Yes. Yes, I do. I'm a big proponent of that.
Thank you.
Just because a lot of the higher level athletes that you see in the game today are athletes who play different sports.
Thank you.
So, you know, even Ndamukong Suh, I remember watching his documentary on ESPN, but I was watching his documentary and they even talked about how he was a prolific soccer player and he played rugby and how those skills directly went into him being a good defensive lineman. So
thank you.
I'm a big proponent of cross-sport play. Even though I love football, but I love all the other sports as well.
Chico, take us home for this first hour, son.
Well, we'd like to thank everybody for being a part of Laying Down the Law and the AAU Focus on Youth Sports. My man, Channing Humphrey, Semi-Pro Live. Check us out on the Tanner Report, Semi-Pro Live, Facebook. Check us out.
All right. We'll be back. Stay with us. More to come right here on Laying Down the Law.
Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are committed to treating chronic back pain and helping patients understand and make informed decisions about orthopedic treatment. They focus on using the latest techniques, medicines, and practices to give their patients the best treatment options to manage and overcome pain. Texas Spine Care Center is committed to helping San Antonio find the best choices that will give you your life back. So call 210-941-1785 or go to texasspinecarecenter.com. 210-941-1785.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. If you love the sports like me, you get annoyed with your team or player. So Progressive's going to help take your mind off your team or that player for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they lost that thing recently, think about Progressive letting you compare our direct rates side by side with competitors to easily find the lowest option. Don't worry, your sports ball team or player will get him next time. Hope this distraction from Progressive about easily comparing rates was helpful to not think about that last game or match or season. I mean, even though I love sports ball.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
but they need a proper bookkeeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Laying down the law. With Steve Foster, Rod Chico Tanner, and Ryan Willett.
We're back. It is hour number 2 of Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster, and moving rapidly as we go through the first hour, and some great guests, a lot of fun, and now we know we have Chico in another form and fashion as the Tanner Report. That one I want to see as we are starting to branch out and on Laying Down the Law. I also want you to welcome Instaco. Yes, CO at the end of that, Global Logistics. And just want to ask you a quick question. Is your freight stuck at the ports? Are your logistics and transportation costs rising out of control? Let Instaco come to the rescue and see how their customized port solutions have helped their customers get production back on track. Instaco Global Logistics builds customized supply chain solutions that drive your business forward. Instaco offers a full suite of services for all your logistical needs, including full truckload, LTL, air and ocean freight transportation. These guys are by land and by sea and by air. So call 877-INSTICO for a free quote today. That's 855-467-8426, or visit instagogl.com. This is my man, Johnny. Yes, sir. Now back to the program. Hey, Edwin, I want to bring you back on. We were talking in the first hour about NCAA basketball, the men's side of things. 7 out of 10 in the top 10 losing. You profess to be a Horns fan. They get a narrow win on the road, and I believe, if I'm not right or not mistaken, 20 wins now for UT.
Absolutely. First time since 2016, which was Shaka Smart's first season. I guess they didn't get it last year because of Corona, but it was all the games that were canceled. But yeah, I can't believe it's been that long since they got to 20. Because 20 wins is kind of like the 50 wins in the NBA. It's kind of the benchmark you want to get to. But I mean, under Rick Barnes in his heyday, that used to be the kind of the just 20 wins easy. But now it's not as hard as easy as it used to be.
No, but I think, and I know Brian McCray, our guest, talking MLB lockout and the collective bargaining agreement. He doesn't believe that Texas is seen as a basketball state, or the Big 12 as a basketball conference. I think as a conference, more so than a state, you have to say the Big 12 is got to be a recognized basketball conference. Football may drive it, but basketball has to be recognized, no?
Absolutely. I mean, you can make an argument that Big 12 basketball
Basketball's
has been
bigger.
better than football, just in terms, partly because Texas has been down in football. That's part of it. But I mean, the Big 12 basketball, it's been competitive every year. It might not be the best conference because it's, it has Baylor won it last year, and I think Kansas was the last team back in 2008 when they were here in
Tech
San
went to
Antonio.
the championship.
Right. No, they've been competitive. I mean, they maybe sometimes they don't get, win the championship, but they at least get teams to the Elite Eight or the second weekend of the regular season. So,
Right.
I mean, Oklahoma made it to a Final Four with Buddy Hield, a few years ago. So, I mean, they've had good teams.
Yeah, and I think now this year probably going to have equal to or the most teams in March Madness. You have to kind of give them some love when it comes to recognizing them as one of the big four or big three sports in college athletics and what's getting done. They're not cannibalizing, but to an extent, Baylor beating Kansas and Kansas beating Texas and things of that nature. You still have all these ranked top 25 teams that come from the Big 12.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we forgot Texas Tech lost to TCU. I mean,
Yeah.
Texas Tech was ranked 9th in the country. They lost to a TCU team that's trying to get their way into the last four in of the tournament. But no, I mean, it's been competitive. The Big 12, they have good coaches. I think that's the thing that gets overlooked is, you have Chris Beard, obviously was at Texas Tech, now at Texas. Bob Huggins has been to a Final Four. Bill Self is a really good coach. Scott Drew was known as a great recruiter early on, but not a great game day coach. And I think he's kind of reversed that trend over the last few years. So it's as well of coach conference as there is in the country.
I think so. And it's hard to win a championship. It's hard to win a championship.
No,
I don't care. I don't care if it's regular season, tournament, or March Madness. Because so many things have to go right for you. And you're not playing 2 games.
Right. It's not a 7-game series like the NBA. I mean, you can make an argument. John Calipari's best team was the team that almost went undefeated with Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns, and they lost to Wisconsin in the final. But they were the best team that year in the country, but they lost at one bad game against Wisconsin in the Final Four. So that was John Calipari's best team, and they didn't even win it that year. So.
Exactly. And that goes, there's no guarantee of a win because you're the best team. It's that day. And you being a sports fan, just like all of us, you recognize sometimes you just don't have your day. And for whatever reason, and I can't tell you why people miss shots. I can't tell you why people foul balls off and don't hit, home runs or string 5 hits in a row and score runs, or why you can't pick up a first down in the first half of a game and now you're behind, and it's those types of things that make sports so interesting because really there are no guarantees,
No, absolutely. I mean, and you're dealing with 19, 20-year-olds who, maybe a lot of these teams are young teams, obviously dominated by the one and done or guys leaving after 2 years. So I think in the tournament, you see a lot of teams, the veteran teams win. The veteran teams, the 22, 23-year-olds end up beating maybe a more talented, freshman-laden team that's dominated by 19, 20-year-olds. I think there's a difference with the basketball in terms of chemistry and the continuity. I think that matters a lot, especially in March Madness time.
Right, because you're trying to, I remember in high school, starting with my freshman year class, knowing that I had 4 years to figure out getting a district championship, looking to be by district champs, area, regional, so on and so forth. You don't have that necessarily now in college.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's some people think it's ruining the sport, maybe the lack of kind of veteran teams. I mean, I know back in the 90s or something, those guys stayed 3-4 years and they developed their game. And I don't blame the kids. I mean, obviously you have a chance $1 million, millions of dollars, you would go pro too, or and you never know. I mean, it's some guys, they need to go pro. They could probably come out of high school, the rare few of them, but.
If my son gets the chance to get a $10 million contract, I could teach him what he needs to know.
You can always go back to school now. I mean, I don't blame the kids at all. I don't.
No, and like you said, modest incomes or not, How do you sign your name and get $10 million? It doesn't happen in the IBM trainee program. I'm telling you, it doesn't. You can't go on Indeed.com and go, oh, give me the $10 million job. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with the NIL now. I mean, that kind of changed the game. I mean, I know we've talked a lot about it in football NIL, but we'll see what happens in basketball if guys maybe stay an extra year because they know they're getting some. I mean, it's not NBA money, but they're getting some income. Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you enjoy the college deal, it's a little different, but it's close enough to almost NBA that you're not playing as many games. You do have some downtime, but yet, I remember we stayed at Marriott's and got the breakfasts and, all the good accoutrement of what you see on a professional level, even though, I was a grad assistant in one scenario and then a player in the other. But I didn't think I got mistreated. Now, I would have loved to have that name, image, likeness. I would have put that hey, Edwin, I'd have put that everywhere, man. You'd have had false this, false that. Man, we would have been, we'd have all been paid, no doubt.
Absolutely. So do you think it's the right decision for Nebraska to keep Fred Hoiberg? I saw that earlier this week that they're going to stick with him, even though they haven't been good during his tenure.
The mayor.
Yeah. I thought it was a great hire for Nebraska because what he did at Iowa State, but it hasn't worked out that well for Nebraska.
It hasn't. And, I was there when T. Lou, I was coming through the program and stuff like that. And now everybody goes, wow, we didn't know he went to Nebraska. Yeah, he's from Missouri, but came up. Nebraska hasn't been a big player in basketball for a long time. Mikey Moore is probably one of the last guys, coming out, doing some things. But, Bruce Chubbuck and the Polish Rifle, my boy, oh, wow. I see his face. He'd kill me because we used to hang out and good, in a great career, in the, I'll get it next segment in the NBA, but yeah, we're missing those guys. And, it's unfortunate, but you got to build a program somehow, some way. And you're right. The coach is an important part, even though you go to see and come to see the players. So, NIL could give you one more year to develop. But because I had a quick conversation yesterday about what if Jordan went straight from high school into the NBA like LeBron did? Would he be as great? Would he have had a loss in the NBA finals or not? So, it comes down to somewhat of the finances, but then, do you enjoy just playing on a high level? And if you do in college, you can do it for a couple of years before you go pro. So let's do this. Let's step aside. I think we may even have our man, Chris Fernandez, giving us a call, co-host of the show as well. But we're talking all things sports right here. So we'll be back. Stay with us as we go to break right here on Laying Down the Law.
San Antonio has 2 Hop.Dotty locations. Hi, I'm Steve Foster, one at the Rim and the new location at the Vineyard, 1301 North Loop 1604 West, and the initial San Antonio location at 17623 La Cantera Parkway, Suite 101 at the Rim. Different and delicious burgers, but fresh and all-natural ingredients. Hop.Dotty also has handcrafted milkshakes and hand-cut Kennebuck fries. So get to a Hop.Dotty in San Antonio. When burger is life, life is awesome.
Hi everyone, Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats here. When you bring a package of our smoked sausage home, keep it simple. It's handcrafted in small batches and fully cooked, so you can just heat it up and enjoy. My favorite way to eat it is on a bun with mustard or wrapped in a tortilla. Try some from a store near you today, and if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Guaranteed. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Hi, I'm Harry Anderson. For a good, uncomplicated way to exercise, take a walk. At any age, walking is one of the best ways to keep your heart fit and your joints limber, without the injuries that jogging or some aerobics can cause. Ask your shoe salesman for a shoe that's designed for walking. And ask your doctor to help you plan an exercise walking program that's right for you. Soon, you'll be on the road to better health.
A message from the Will Rogers Institute, WRInstitute.org.
Kathy Ireland for the Will Rogers Institute.
Are you worried that your kids aren't spending enough time being physically active? The best fitness is family activity. Ride bikes, play soccer, or just take a walk through the neighborhood. The important thing is to get your children moving with you. For more information on family activities and fitness, call the Will Rogers Institute.
Call toll-free 877-957-7575 or visit wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I'm Gerald McRaney. Is there anything you wouldn't do to live longer or feel better? You can make a few simple changes in your lifestyle if you knew it could save your life. Take cholesterol. A high blood cholesterol level can cause strokes and serious heart disease. But exercise and simple changes in your diet can reduce cholesterol and make you feel better.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
Welcome back to the Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch snuggling, ball chasing, face licking, and of course, companionship. Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive, and now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance so common with this group.
But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a survivor of mannequinism. Mannequinism is basically when you turn into a hard plastic shell. It started when I didn't register to vote, and then I stopped volunteering, and before I knew it, I wasn't doing anything. And that's when I found a small patch of plastic on my right shoulder.
Protect yourself from mannequinism. Log on to fightmannequinism.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
We're back. We're Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster. And on the phone lines, co-host Chris Fernandez. Chris, good morning.
Steve, good morning, my friend. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Hey, listen, the listeners know that we were out at the Super Bowl. We were there all week. Your first time on Radio Row and doing the media scene. I know this, you never ask a question that you don't know the answer to, especially if you're an attorney. So with that, I ask you, did you have a good time?
Yeah, I got to tell you, Steve, one of the highlights of my life. I mean, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would get the opportunity to do that, to see and to talk to some of the most prolific athletes in the world. I mean, these guys, we watch them every Sunday. We look at them on TV, but to get to talk to them, to get to meet them and stand next to them and actually have a conversation, just an outstanding opportunity.
Okay, so now that you've set the stage, what was it about the stage that you enjoyed? Give us some insight from a first-time, fresh set of eyes and ears of what kind of things happen and what you appreciated about kind of the stardom and fandom that takes place.
Well, Steve, it's just the enormity of the whole event. We walked into the LA Convention Center and you walk onto Radio Row for the first time and you see all the sets that were surrounding the center of the stage, right, with the big guys, the ESPNs, the Fox Sports and stuff like that. And then you see these guys,
right?
Yes. You watch these guys walk around and these are, like I said, they're athletes that you watch every Sunday.
Right.
It's just an exciting event. The pageantry, the sports shops, I just don't even know how to put it in words. It was just an exciting event and just extremely thankful to get to do it.
Absolutely. And that's part of the job. You want to do things that you love. Of course, you had the opportunity to see a myriad of players, celebrities, hosts like that. First time. Now here's a first time for the both of us. We go to the Wounded Warriors flag football game, and big shout out to a whole host of folks, from Dr. Jen Welter to our guy Mike Dempsey to our Wounded Warrior buddy Michael. But then big notables: Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champion quarterback, a person that people know from sports media, Kenny Mayne. You knew him for so long on Sports Center and ESPN. To a guy who I appreciated, Vince Ferragamo, an alum from Nebraska, also played and started as quarterback against your Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. To Coach Rob Mendez that won an ESPY, and we got to have him on the show. He's unbelievable. Here's a person born with no limbs, arms or legs, and this guy is one of the best and happiest and encouraging persons I've ever met.
Oh, I can't agree with you more, Steve. Just an honor to meet him and to get to talk to him. Just a very uplifting gentleman, just down to earth, and really enjoyed the conversation we had with him. I can't believe I actually got, as you mentioned, I got to meet Kurt Warner, talk to him about his movie that he made. He was very, thankful that, that I spoke
that
to him
you
about
paid
that.
so that he could get some royalties and residuals, of course. Go see it again with me, take me next time, right?
Yeah. And then, like you said, I got, to get to meet Vince Ferragamo. I know that he played against my Steelers, and just a genuine man, just absolutely a pleasure to speak to. Don't forget, we got to meet the defensive player, Bob Golick.
Oh yes,
Browns, who was just Raiders, an amazing individual. Yeah, just a super, super nice man. That night was great. Getting to meet those guys, getting to watch the game between the NFL legends and the Wounded Warriors. Just an outstanding evening.
Yeah, and then we get to move on. We go to Radio Row, and then that evening we get to hang out with one of my favorite guys, Larry Centers. And so,
what an evening,
Larry, and you probably, that had to be one of your best nights, because Chris actually, and I'm a big sports card memorabilia guy, and sitting wide open all by its lonesome was an autographed jersey of Ben Roethlisberger, who will be in the Hall of Fame at some point. 2 Super Bowl championships with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You pick up for charity and the autographed Ben Roethlisberger jersey at a price not to be named, but very reasonable given all the circumstances.
Absolutely. What an opportunity. And when I went and checked on it, I thought to myself, no way I'm going to get this thing, but had the opportunity for charity, ended up with it. So it will be hanging in my office, framed here shortly. Ben Roethlisberger's autographed jersey. It was just an outstanding get. I was happy to do that. Not only that, Steve, but I also got to meet the great Franco Harris that night.
Yes. What a good guy. I mean, he made me cry on the immaculate reception against my Oakland Raiders. Nonetheless, yeah.
One of the greatest moments of that night, Steve, I'd have to say, was the fact when they awarded him with the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, not watching the film that they were playing of him throughout his career, but watching him watch the film was probably one of the greatest moments of the week for me. To watch one of the greatest running backs in the NFL watch himself and watch things that he did in his career. It was just an outstanding evening, just an outstanding event.
Yes, and we got to hang out with my guy, Steve Berline, who I've met way back in the day. Went to South Padre with him with a program called Party Smart. They even had the commercial. They brought back Berline doing the Party Smart commercial. That was an Anheuser-Busch deal to bring awareness as they say, to party smart. The great Thurman Thomas from Sugarland, Willow Ridge. They call it Fort Bend, Willow Ridge now. Thermal, first time at Larry Center's event, Laugh with Legends. Big shout out to Larry. A great time. Ed Too Tall Jones on the deal. His birthday was not too long ago here this past week, so happy belated birthday to Too Tall. But what a great evening just to collaborate with a lot of these guys and have a lot of big laughs and kick around.
Yeah, it was a great event. Yeah, Wednesday night was truly one for the books.
So we move on to Thursday, and we go back to Radio Row. We have the likes of my guy who won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Willie Colon. He shows up out of nowhere, and Big Willie style, as I call him. He's there. Barry Sanders comes through. Barry always comes through. The great Mike Haynes, he was on the go. And then, of course, we get to see our guy who used to be in Central Texas, Q Myers. He's the mainstay now out in Las Vegas and doing Raider Nation Radio, ESPN.
Always good
Fox.
to catch up with Q.
Oh, Q, definitely. And who else do you recall seeing and catching up with? The great Kix Brooks from Brooks and Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn. Kix Brooks is out there doing some interviews. I got to meet Ryan Shazier, one of the great all-time linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cam Hayward. Got to meet him on that day. Another chance meeting by way of Radio Row that day. Who else did we meet out there? There was a lot of people out there that day.
Then Thursday night, you go to the Ditka and Ron Jaworski cigar party. Great venue and setting out in the evening because it was 70s during the day, and the nighttime wasn't too much different. Pretty warm. What'd you think first time going to that?
I'll tell you, that was a really nice event. Like you said, the weather was great. The atmosphere was great. Had good music, great cigars. Had an opportunity to catch up with the great Mel Renfro from the Dallas Cowboys. Had met up with Mel had the opportunity to meet him during the Hall of Fame week at Canton, Ohio.
Right.
And got to catch up with him again. Just a great venue, great event.
Oh, absolutely.
Couldn't have asked for a better evening.
No. So then you get Friday, and we go to the NFL Legends party after catching up with Omar Ruiz during the Radio Row opportunity time then, and seeing him, who is a great insider as he brings it on NFL Network. And then we caught up also with our man Mel Owens, who, we cannot forget how he has contributed to our show.
Getting to finally meet Omar Ruiz after speaking with him on the show several times was really cool. And then hanging out with Mel Owens for the day on Friday with his son, just an outstanding individual. It was Friday. Friday was a really good time, and just spending the whole day with him on Radio Row, watching him do the interviews, speaking with him at lunch. Couldn't have asked for a better day.
No, and his son Andre having a blast, getting photos and meeting some of the stars he got to see. Got to see my guy Andrew Hawkins as well.
Yep.
That was great. New Hawk from El Paso, our home, as he was involved with the Texas versus the Nation game in 2010. Then he goes to 4th and Long, becomes a runner-up, goes to the CFL. Then he plays with the state of Ohio in the NFL, both with the Bengals and the Browns. Hawk, a stand-up guy, gets his graduate degree from Columbia University, and now he's out on NFL Network and doing a bunch of things. So it's great to see Hawk and see his maturation in the world of sports. Let's do this, Chris. Let's have you hold through the break. There's a couple of other things that we had the opportunity to do. So talking with co-host Chris Fernandez right now on Laying Down the Law. We're going to be back. We're going to finish strong and then talk a little more college basketball as an unprecedented day yesterday. 7 of the 10 top 10 teams in the AP top 25 losing. Never happened before. So more to come. Stay with us as we step aside and come back right here on Laying Down the Law.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
In sports, 3 goals is a hat trick. And when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get a hat trick of great savings and round-the-clock protection. So you might be thinking, wait, that's 2 things. A hat trick is 3. But in this metaphor, great savings counts as 2 goals, and so does round-the-clock protection. So it's like 4 goals, and that's more than 3. It's basic math.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill serves great cooking with an innovative take on classic American comfort food. For over 10 years now, Chuck and Larry have delighted appetites and presented one of the best Sunday brunches ever at 303 Red River in Austin. Go by and enjoy some corn dog shrimp, cornflake chicken salad, broiled rainbow trout, and all my favorites and more. Moonshine classic American comfort food. And of course, when you see Chuck and Larry, tell them falsetto up. Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Hello, Connecticut. May I help you?
This is Bill Tyson. Is this my Connecticut Pro?
Yes, Mr. Tyson. What can I do for you?
Calling from Yellowstone National Park.
Mm-hmm.
Old Faithful just erupted and reminded me I didn't set the vacation bypass in my Connecticut water conditioner. Would you run over to my house and set it? I've hidden the key under my doormat.
Well,
I forgot to set the bypass last year. I had that other brand, and the software used up 4,000 pounds of salt in a week.
Mr. Tyson, relax. With your new Connecticut, there is no vacation cycle or any worries about salt. If you don't use any water, your Connecticut won't either. We not only believe in saving salt, but also in saving water.
Would you go over and unplug it then? I'm trying to conserve electricity.
You forget that your Connecticut doesn't use electricity either. There's nothing to plug in. And don't forget that your Connecticut is also completely automatic.
I mean, I can relax and enjoy my whole vacation?
That's right.
This is great. I've got Old Faithful here at Yellowstone and an Old Faithful in my Connecticut water conditioner at home.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Connecticut. SA.com.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
Back on Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster. Moving right along with co-host Chris Fernandez, but first, Instaco, GL.com. If you have any type of global supply chain issues that may affect your business and cause some uncertainty in your supply chain, give Instago a call to schedule a free consultation. Instago is a global transportation management and consulting firm that builds customized solutions to help their customers improve reliability in their supply chain. That's 855-INSTICO for a free quote today. 855-467-8426. InstacoGL.com. Give a big shout out to our boy Johnny. He was riding with us, Chris, and we had an opportunity to on Saturday get to the one and only Lee Steinberg's party. He had it at Sony Pictures. What do you think about that as a majestic site for an event?
I tell you, Steve, the venue itself, you know, just on its own, it says everything, right? You know, you're at the Sony Picture Studios, and
formerly MGM,
right?
So anything you see with the lion roaring, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, that's the same property.
Yeah, you know, really, really nice property and an opportunity to walk around and see some great. We caught up with our hometown guy, Billy Davis.
Yes.
You had an opportunity
to
right, and spend some time with him. Really, really good time talking with him and catching up with him and getting to know what he's up to these days. And then we ran into Omar Benson, who used to be on the show on HBO,
Ballers,
with the Rock Ballers, yes, and just a real genuine gentleman. I had a good photo op with him. It was just a really neat place. Got to see the Humanity Awards that were presented to all the winners and recipients.
The Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye
Yes,
from Azusa Pacific.
And what a story he had, you know, about how his beginnings and how he came to play the game of football.
Yes.
Just an outstanding story. I couldn't believe it when he was talking about it, but just very enlightening to know what he went through and how he became the football star that he was.
Yes, absolutely. And then we, of course, our East Texas guy, John Booty from Carthage, by also TCU and the NFL. I get a chance to hang out with Big Brother John. You know, and that story with him is, you know, I was on break with one of my buddies, rest in peace, my boy David Hiles from the Fort Worth area, and some of his buddies attended TCU. Mark and Chris, and got to go to the gym using Yates's ID, and they had some pickup basketball going, and you know how we played in the summers growing up. So I just, you know, wanted to kick around, do something a little different while we were on break. And John was kind enough to have me run with some of his teammates, some of the Horned Frogs, and we never lost that whole afternoon. And so kept in touch, and he wound up being on the Jets with, I think, Jeff Blake and my guy Johnny Mitchell, or somehow we caught back up. And great to always get a chance to talk with him and see him. He was in attendance as well, but a lot of notables. And I think Byron Allen we saw. He's looking at doing some things in the NFL, possibly purchasing the Denver Broncos, and just a whole host of folks. I think we saw Damon Dash, you know, from Shark Tank. There's a whole Lee Steinberg brings them out, man. I mean, you know.
And then we caught up with Larry again, Larry Sanders.
Yes,
and had a good conversation with him with his dapper glasses.
I love those glasses. Yeah, Larry gives them up. I may want to take a look at those. Our the lovely June Dedrick, who remember a couple of years ago was the chair of the Texas Bowl, and she was out there. Just a whole host of folks. And the day was great. The temperatures off the chain. So tell us about our living arrangement out there in sunny Southern California.
I'll tell you what, we couldn't have done better, Steve. You know, we had the opportunity to stay with your good friend and college roommate from the past, Mr. Dean Cain, who was just an outstanding host. Made me, you know, having met him for the first time in person, spoke to him several times on the radio, but for the first time made me feel at home the whole week. Just a wonderful home, and he invited us in. I felt very comfortable, just an outstanding individual. Just enjoyed the whole week staying with him at his place out in Malibu. Just beautiful, beautiful view from his balcony.
Right. I wanted to see if you were going
to
get to that one. Yeah, a view of the Pacific Ocean. That's not too shabby, a backdrop.
No. You know, when people always, you know, people ask me, where did you stay? And I tell them, they're like, wow, how lucky were you? And absolutely, how lucky was I to get to meet just a genuine man, just a genuine person, and
we got him some stuff.
Very hospitable guest.
Got him some stuff, brought him some stuff back, and you know, that kind of convinced me. You know, I went with the local guys between Mel and Dean. I went with the Rams, plus they have Highland Park's, you know, Matthew Stafford. I think that earned me a big gulp against you.
Yeah, it did. Yes, it did. The Bengals almost pulled it out, but you know, almost doesn't work. But yeah, you did earn a big gulp, and I will pay up.
That's one of the fun things that we have brought from our childhood days. Any other lasting thoughts that you had as you had your first Super Bowl week conclude, and then you know, looking back, anything that just
you look back at it, Steve, and we put these athletes and TV personalities up on a pedestal when we watch. A lot of people do, and when you meet them in person, they're just down to earth human beings.
Right.
You know, I the conversations that they're willing to have with you and speak to you on a level, athlete to athlete. You know, it's just amazing how genuine these folks are, and the opportunity to get out there and do that. I just look forward to it next year. I look forward to all the different events that you and I get to do, that we have the privilege to do.
Right.
So it was just an outstanding event. I can't wait to look at it and get the opportunity to do it again.
Well, and you know, basketball season in full effect. As I mentioned before, I let you go. 7 of the top 10 AP basketball teams in the men's side losing. Your Texas Longhorns, just like Edwin, they get a win in Morgantown, beating the Mountaineers 82-81. Heck of a game, saw that go. And then I had a blast at the Cupid's Undie Run, supporting the Children's Tumor Foundation yesterday, looking for a way to end NF. So, Chris, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, my man. I know we'll catch up soon, but I wanted to get your thoughts on a great Super Bowl week. And
I do appreciate it, Steve. And just a quick shout out to both my kiddos. Christian, happy birthday to you on Friday last, and to my beautiful daughter Lillian, upcoming this Saturday. Happy birthday to you, honey. I love you both. You're both my world.
Good dad move. Good dad move. Well played, my man. All right. Well, listen, we're going to go to break. He is Chris Fernandez, one of the co-hosts. Great to have him joining us this Sunday. We're going to step aside. We'll be back to finish strong. We're going to talk to our man, Kurt Tomasevich, as he brought home some medals as his bobsled and skeleton crew from the United States did it well, as so did the entire Winter Olympic team for the United States. So stay with us right here on Laying Down the Law.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select the right products for your vehicle and your budget. Like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Save money on your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I don't know about you, but my car could use a few upgrades. I mean, the 8-inch tier in the driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt has molded to fit it, but I'm ready to move on. My solution? eBay Motors. They've got all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, from seat covers to whole new seats. When I get that new seat, I think I'll put the old one in the living room, right next to the minivan seats, or as we call it, the sectional. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Cover 3 at Stone Oak in San Antonio is the place to be, whether you're looking to gather coworkers for lunch, dine with friends, or treat your sweetie to a fabulous dinner. This elegant restaurant offers ample seating with comfortable leather booths, tall cocktail tables, along with full-service dining at the bar, or you can enjoy a fun time out on the patio. So come to Cover 3 and experience dining, spirits, and sports.
Cover 3, 1806 North 1604 West, 210-479-9700.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again, with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joints, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now at 210-571-0318 and wake up to a life without pain. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
Laying Down the Law is brought to you by Texas Spine Care Center, Cover 3 San Antonio, Coordinated Financial Group, and Hop Dottie Burger Bar.
Back. We are Laying Down the Law. I'm your host, Steve Foster, and it is now time to catch up with another alum, former Husker linebacker, Olympian, multi-medalist winner in the Winter Olympics, including a gold medal, the director of sport performance for the USA Bobsled and Skeleton Organization, the one and only Kurt Tomasevich. Kurt, welcome back home, man. Congratulations on all the efforts for your crew and the entire United States contingent for the 2022 Winter Olympics.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Hey, listen, you did what you needed to do. You can always improve, right? You know how we are as athletes. We always want to do better. However, this new monobob and two-person, you work with all the athletes, men and women, correct?
Yeah, men and women, bobsled and skeleton. So yeah,
Yes.
we take care of the monobob, 2-woman, 2-man, and 4-man, all those disciplines.
So what'd you think? Were you okay? Can you live to get to another Olympics? How would you grade your work and effort as the director?
Honestly, I'd say, B+, I guess. Okay. We did well in the disciplines we were expected to do well in. And even the men's 2-man and 4-man, we were hoping for, top 10-ish, and that's kind of where we finished. So, it turned out to be kind of a COVID game as much as anything. So it was, grading performance, I think we did okay.
Well, again, most of the Midwesterners are very modest. I think you did better than okay. When you put people on the medal stand and you see gold medals, you have to say, hey, we've earned our way respectfully in these games. Man, you travel so fast, and it's, to drive that the bobsled. So here's the one question, and this may be silly and you can laugh. I see bobsled and then I see bobsleigh. What's the difference, Kurt? I mean, is it the same thing? Or what happened there?
The difference is just which country you're reading it in, I guess.
I gotcha.
I think we're bobsleigh in the entire world, except the U.S. We're bobsled here, and that's really about it. So,
Okay, we do it differently. All right, fair enough. I knew there was something to it. I knew you could quickly resolve that. What do you look for in getting these types of athletes? Power, explosion, and then what about the experience of a driver of any of these sleds?
So actually that's where, the Olympics are over. So that's what we're doing right now is recruiting athletes for next year and then for the next 4 years too. And for the most part, for bobsled athletes, we're looking for, big, strong, powerful sprinters for the most part. So a lot of them come back from football or track. We have female athletes from, volleyball background, weightlifting background. So we're always trying to recruit and find those athletes. Typically our pilots are those that, I don't want to call them failed brakemen, but they're, not it may be clear that they're not going to make it as a push athlete. So they switch to the driver's seat. And that's typically the route that they've taken in the past. But yeah, I mean, we have some incredible athletes, and their driving skill is pretty unique because, driving a bobsled or a skeleton sled is, there's really no simulation that we found that works well. It's, video games aren't a direct correlation. Driving, auto racing is not a direct correlation. So it's just a matter of getting them in a sled and sending them down the hill and seeing if they have a knack for it.
I saw footage and I never knew this had occurred until like a week or so ago. My best friend from undergrad, Dean Kane, he did the skeleton against Linford Christie back in the day. And they have a footage of him from his like a helmet cam. And I was like, I had no idea you literally did this thing, head first on one of the legit, tracks. And he wasn't bad, I was like, but I don't know what to say when you have a best friend that really isn't bad at anything. You gotta say, dang, and now he gets on the ice. He's from California and he goes down and he does pretty decent. It's crazy because that's head first.
Yeah. We always joke, and we're not sure what drunk German came up with skeletons, but it's a tough sport. It's pretty brutal, as far as, core strength and, physical ability to drive a sled. It doesn't look like they're doing much, but they have a lot of control where they're trying to, come around those curves on rounded runners and not just go fast, but they're trying to go safe too.
Right. So what about the overall, we come in, I believe, fifth in medals with 25 total, I believe. Of course, the graphic as well. It's the lowest, medal count that we've had since, 90, whatever. However, coming in the top 5 in the Winter Olympics, given that, we have snow in Colorado and I guess, Vermont and the Poconos up in Pennsylvania, but, it's here or there. Yeah, I think it's pretty unique to be able to be that competitive, though, in the Winter Olympic Games.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Winter Olympic sports are, I don't want to say territorial or, but, like we don't have a whole lot of cross-country skiing,
right?
Development pipeline, or, ski jumping or even speed skating and definitely not bobsled either. So,
right.
Some of these other countries, especially, European countries, and, their national sports are showcased at the Olympics, Norway, as far as, the Nordic combined sports and, the Netherlands with speed skating and, in the U.S., we tend to have a lot of good athletes that find these winter sports later on sometimes, and that's okay. But, it's a different approach that we have than other countries too.
So Mikaela Shiffrin doing, not what she probably thought would be her best performance at an Olympics, that may have factored in or out of the medal count for our country as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some plus minus, that comes with our medal.
Right.
I think Mikaela was planning on doing 4, maybe 5 events, so if she would have, lived up to what we thought or think is her potential and, got, another 3-4 medals, that jumps up to like third in the medal count, just like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
One person having a bad 2 weeks, we take the medal count as, it's more of a guideline. It's not law on, how to determine if we have a good Olympics or not. So, there's other factors there too. We're not disappointed with a lot of the results, but we're always looking to get better.
Absolutely. So now you go like to the World Championship competitions and things of that nature prior to the next Winter Olympics. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we don't just fall off the face of the earth. A lot of people forget about a lot of our sports until 4 years from now. But yeah, we have World Championships every year. We have a World Cup season, every winter, and and that builds our program to be successful at the Olympics. So it doesn't just happen overnight. We've got to start preparing now for Italy in 2026.
And you'll still be a part of these, World Championships as the director. Is that correct? So you'll move through with the teams and the competitors?
Yeah, honestly, we're starting, some budget review and some criteria changes here in the next few weeks, and, doing some of the administrative stuff already. Again, I'm going to be at the National Scouting Combine this coming week, recruiting athletes. A big part of my job is overseeing the technical side too. And so we need to try to build better and faster sleds as well. So we've got a lot to do in the quote unquote off season here as well.
Okay. How did it feel being up on that medal stand as a gold medalist?
Again, I've been asked that 100 times, and I've failed 100 times in trying to put that into words. It's pretty incredible. It happens very fast. When I was a kid, I remember watching like the 96 Olympics in Atlanta and Michael Johnson, just crying his eyes out, and,
right.
The dream team, winning their gold medal. And, and I always thought about, what would it be like to be on that medal stand? And then it happened so fast. I kind of realized afterwards, like, oh yeah, that was that moment. I should have been crying. I should have been singing. I should have been doing something, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty unforgettable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you and the teams and what you're doing here, beginning now on the technical side, and being that coach, and you've been coached in multiple sports. Again, I think, and I want to hear it from an Olympic gold medalist and a Division I Power 5 conference football player. Isn't it smart to play and do more than one sport?
100%. Well, and I'm going to say that more than anybody, because nobody grows up specifically geared toward bobsledding. That just doesn't happen in the United States. So we're, always looking for well-rounded athletes, that, played football, track, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. I mean, that's who we pull from,
Exactly.
So especially in our sport, but I think any sport too, just growing up, makes you a well-rounded athlete.
Perfect. Kurt Tomasevich, Olympic gold medalist, and now the director of sport performance for bobsled and skeleton. All right, before we let you go, curling, are you a fan or not?
Mostly a fan.
Okay, fair enough, my friend.
I'll say it belongs to the Olympics more than some other things, so I'll leave it at that. It's not a judge sport to me.
All right. Hey, go Big Red. Great to have an alum. Thanks for your time as also. We'll be back next week.
It.
All right, appreciate you. Take care.
Bye.
More laying down the law next week, right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM.
Texas Spine Care Center and Dr. Adam Brueggemann are